You know, I get a lot of messages from people on here who seem to think that Portland is a post-apocalyptic wasteland overrun by Antifa, violence, homeless people, drug addicts shooting up in every street, lions running wild, rabid chickens out to get you. Is it true? In this video, I'm gonna set the record straight for you, so stick around. Portland, Oregon, one of the most controversial cities in America. Does it live up to the hype? You probably heard about Portland at least once or twice in the news at the height of the pandemic. Protests, senseless riots, Antifa, Proud Boys, police brutality. There's certainly a lot of truths and unfortunate things that happened during that time period, some of which have had long-lasting consequences. But exactly how much of Portland's negative perception is true? How much of it is fluffed up by the media? I want to take the time to address this stuff honestly in this video, because if you are someone who might be moving to Portland in the near future and want to know the truth, or just happen to have Portland on the short list of places you are considering moving to, you deserve to hear how things actually are here. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty, on that note, if you are serious about making a move up here to Portland, just know that my team and I are always available via call, text, or email. So whether you're interested in buying your first or fifth home here in Portland, we'd absolutely love the opportunity to help you with your research and ultimately get settled into that ideal property to call home. You can find all of our contact information right down below this video in the comments or in the description. We look forward to hearing from you, and with that said, let's address what happened here in 2020. Lots of media coverage for what was happening in a very small radius here in Portland. All the riots and the protesting and the smashing of buildings and property, all of that happened within a very small, probably 5 or 6 block radius in downtown Portland. Was it happening every night? Yes. For quite a while, actually, people were damaging buildings, property, and many local businesses had to shut down as a result. However, this violence, while concentrated in one specific part of the city, was actually not widespread across the city. So was it noticeable in other parts of Portland? Honestly, no. There were times where I would have friends or family check in on me or text me or call me asking me if I was doing okay, or asking me what's it like in Portland right now. And the truth is, where I was, it was as tranquil and peaceful as it ever was. Unless you actively seeked out and pursued the craziness and the protests, living a quiet and safe life was not only realistic, but also pretty easy to do. What about Antifa? Isn't Antifa ruining the whole city? Not that I've seen. Truth is, in all the years that I've lived in Portland, the only time I've ever actually seen someone who is an obvious member of Antifa, they were sitting there quietly by themselves waiting for the bus. I thought to myself, okay. And then I went and had a bowl of ramen and lived my life. What's the downtown area like right now? Well, some parts are making a recovery and some parts are pretty sketch. Recently, there's been times where I felt pretty uncomfortable in certain parts of downtown due to these certain types of characters that are walking around, especially at night. What types of characters, you ask? Well, some of what you might have heard about Portland is true. There is a very real homeless problem, a lot of which is fueled by drugs, as well as the high cost of living here. No lions or rabid chickens though, but that would be kind of exciting, huh? There are also parts of downtown, even very close to where all the protests were happening, where life goes on. For example, where the Portland Farmers Market is. That happens every single Saturday, rain or shine, protests or no protests. And that was extremely close to the heart of the protests. And yet, even my family and I would go there regularly, even during the toughest of times. There would literally be riots happening all night long, and then the next morning I'd be 6 blocks away eating breakfast burritos at the farmer's market with my kids. The good news is that it's super easy to avoid the rougher parts of town. Not all of downtown is like that, and if you venture outside of downtown just a little bit, you'll find some very desirable places to live. Places like the Pearl, the Alphabet District, and even the newly redeveloped Slab Town are all super nice, clean areas that are just a stone's throw away from downtown. Cross the bridge into the northeast or southeast of Portland and you are in a completely different world. With tons of artsy businesses and homes built with classic Portland architecture, you can find an endless amount of quiet, safe, and dare I say, lovely neighborhoods to explore and live in. One of my favorite things that I talk about in a lot of my videos is the fact that Portland is a city made up of many small neighborhoods. You've got nice, quiet streets with homes that have beautiful gardens and young families living in them, parks nestled between classic craftsman-styled bungalows, just a block or two away from a more happening street with maybe a local market, perhaps a pizza joint or an ice cream shop, a locally made clothing store, right next to a high-end restaurant serving up sushi or French tapas. I've been to many cities all over the world, and Portland has some of the most amazing natural beauty around, with many different types of trees dispersed throughout town, rose gardens of all sizes, and 2 rivers that intersect in the middle of the city. Is Portland perfect? No. Does it have some downsides to it? Absolutely. Is it possible to live here and never even experience some of the things that the mainstream media portrays Portland to be like? 1000% yes. If you leave the city of Portland and head out to one of the suburbs like Lake Oswego or Beaverton or West Lynn, to name a few, you're going to be even farther removed from some of the negative things perceived about Portland. I'll go into detail on some of the differences between living in the suburbs and Portland proper in this video right here, so click here to continue your research on Portland. We'll see you over there.